Moving on next to the topics of money, or more precisely funding. So the next discussion will invite speakers to share their tips and tricks on raising capital and doing it right. So I'm inviting to the next discussion, rightly titled, Give Us Money. So starting off with the two lovely speakers who are here, I'm inviting Helmuts Lejnieks, Chairman of the Board of the Latvian Business Angel Network, Latban. Welcome. And Marta Mattsson from Smart Laws, also welcome here. And inviting the two others to join us virtually. So Sandra Golbreich, CEO and co-founder of Baltic Sandbox, and Lena Lass, founding partner at the Better Fund. Welcome.
Oh, it's very nice to see on the screen Lena, and maybe Sandra too is joined. Maybe I can see you too. Welcome, and today's topic will be about the money. So, first of all, that's the first question when we build something like a project, or we are in the incubator or in accelerator, it doesn't matter. The first idea is where to become successful and get our 1 million euros. So let's talk about that kind of categories. I'm very happy that Helmuts is here, because Helmuts is from the organization what's start with beginning from the business angels. So they are the previous mostly investors in the project. So give us the money. So let's talk about it. So first of all, imagine that we have project. We are really young. Let's say we are based in somewhere in Riga, or because Icebreaker is today in Riga. We are making some SaaS platform project, and we would like to get investment. So I will say that let's go to the business angels, because Marta said so. So what is very important that I can apply for private investor money, and what investor actually looking for in the project, Helmut?
Yes, thank you. First of all, it would be the product as itself. So what solution do you solve? And behind of that is the most important part. It's the team. So angel investors, they are mainly looking how motivated you are to develop your product, your project. So, and they want to see those efforts. And I would say we have so many SaaS products have been to our site vision. So there are a lot of things that Latvia and their founders can solve. So, but we need to be more like more precise that we want to build. So the problems are like everywhere, but yes, we should.
What's the solution? What is basically the problem? Yeah, and of course, I think one of the most thing is the team. Sandra, what do you think? What is most important when the project goes to the business angels? After that, we will talk about accelerators. But when they come to the business angels, what do you think is most important? What they need to know? Yes, Sandra.
They need to understand like how the venture investments work in general, and who are the business angels for the startups. I mean, the business angels are basically the first money in. Business angels are people who are supporting startups at the very, very beginning. And at the same time, business angels are experts of some sort who can actually help startups with solving some strategic problems or providing them some network. So they have to choose angels very carefully, and they have to look, first of all, they don't have to give a lot of equity to the angels. They have to understand how the cap table works. Secondly, they should really look for the smart money, those angels who can give additional network, additional knowledge, who can support the startup throughout the first let's say years of the journey, for several years. And they have to discuss the exit strategy with the angel for sure. At the very, very beginning, they have to understand what's in there for the angel and how and when angel is going to exit from the start.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Now we will imagine that we have some investors what we really like, and we would like that they're investing in us, like in business angels. But now we are in that stage that I really want to know what is actually the venture fund. Lena, what, like a new enterpriser, I need to know if I go to the fund? What is the main three things when I go to you?
Yes, hello. I would say that the funds are a step after angels, so the funds also expect you to have a bit more. Whereas you can approach business angels at your idea stage, when we're looking at seed and Series A investments, funds are really after, do you have some traction? Did you get, how much money did you raise already? What have you got done? But of course, the important things as well, who's the team, what's your idea, is it scalable? So everything like that, but we would like a bit more business validation at this point already.
Okay, so my conclusion is that if I'm looking for the money, I need to be actually pretty educated, because you all guys speak about the things. If I'm a new enterpriser or some student with the team, when we sitting in the sauna and figure out the SaaS project, and we figure out the problem, and we have straight away that this problem is validated, that it actually is, because mostly of the projects figure out the problem, not the validate in the market. So where to get this know-how? Okay, we know that Latvian University have incubator. We know that kind of events like Icebreakers, where we can come and listening and so on, but maybe have some suggestions. Sandra, please share. What is your suggestions for the noobs in the startup ecosystem?
Okay, so basically it depends on the background of the person, right? We might be talking about the students, or we might be talking about people who are having some corporate experience or business experience, and they just decided to build some sort of a startup, something that is scalable, because that's the main difference between the traditional business and the startup at the end of the day, scaling. So first of all, incubators, accelerators, different educational program for startups, they really, really help. I mean, there is, however, like programs might be really different, but there is some basic knowledge about how the startup world actually works, some basic knowledge about the business models, financials, funding and fundraising, how to pitch to investors, things like this. That would be pretty much the same in all types of the incubators and accelerators. So for startups, especially if it's their first startup, especially if they're like very new at the market, they have to find this knowledge, and they have to kind of be part of the local ecosystem, talk to the local experts, learn from the local experts. And there are also a lot of, for example, we do a lot of free of charge events for startups. Probably 30 different workshops per year, and additionally, like investment and networking week, where startups can come, register, and pitch to the investors. They just have to, attend and learn and talk to experts.
Yeah. Helmut, about mentoring, I know that Latban or private business angels, time after time, when they're selecting the projects, what we're going to pitch on the private investor stage, choose them after some selection process. How you like take care, or the organization or the private investors, how they take care that this project knows the rules of the private investor field? How do they understand that? Do this information they get from, like Sandra said, from accelerator or in some ecosystem event, or how the private investors educated them, basically business partners, new business partners, about what they are and what they are looking for?
I would say business angels, they are highly know individuals, so everyone knows someone of part of group. For example, in Latban as well, we have some experienced, skilled entrepreneurs, business angels, and investors. So either you can directly approach them about their expertise, because you know, and I have a lot of examples about this, and as well how private investors take care of startups. You, as as Sandra and Lena told, it's about angel expertise. So no angel will select company that they are not expert in.
Yeah.
So they will basically choose something that they know and they have been educated about. So after that, it's easier to bring some value to startup. I think that's the main point about mentoring startups, because there is a lot of things to do, and what this angel investor can bring some value to this startup.
Okay. Lena, can you say the most 3 things, because you are from the fund, so it means that you see them after they make a lot of mistakes in their lives, or they did some good things. So what is the most 3 things when the, let's say, startup is not educated about something, where they're shooting them leg, you know, with a bullet? What do you think, and what you see, and what is your experience? What you see, what's missing in education for the startups? I hope so you understand what I mean.
Yes. If I think of the pitches that I have seen over the past year or so, the most common thing that I notice is unrealistic expectations of where their money can go. So, for example, you are presented with a business plan, or what the costs are. For me, as my background is heavily in marketing and sales, if the budget for marketing is not going to reach you to where the startup promises, then that's an alarm bell. So of course it's a tricky place to be, because when you're doing your presentation, you don't have the money yet. You don't actually know what the true costs are going to be, and they can be very, very different to what you have promised the investors. But this is definitely, I would say, these unrealistic promises or expectations. These are, I would say, the biggest red flag for me, and this is what actually comes up quite often.
Thank you. Sandra, what do you think the 3 common mistakes?
Well, first of all, it's almost the same with what Lena is saying. Basically, startups who don't know mathematics. So when I'm looking at the financial projections of the startups in very early stage, I mean, I do totally understand that those projections might not be realistic. However, I would like to figure out how startup thinks from these financial projections, how he or she can plan the startup founder, how they can kind of see like customer acquisition, business model, and everything in terms of numbers, the numbers language. When I see like crazy unrealistic numbers, for example, the startup is writing something, my customer acquisition cost is going to be 30 cents, or things like this, like, I don't know, my customer acquisition cost is 100 euro, so give me 20K and I'm going to acquire like 10,000 customers. It actually shows that the startup doesn't understand numbers, doesn't understand how it works. Secondly, like, it's a red flag for us when the team is imbalanced. I mean, when there is like a founder in the team who is making all the decisions and other co-founders, they just act as employees. So we normally don't go further with the startups like this. And probably the third one, sometimes startups are trying to build something where they're completely incompetent. And especially if those things are connected with some deep tech or something. And when they pitch to the investors, they somehow think that investors are idiots, that they don't understand. And if they use all these words like AI, then like big data and everything, investors are going to believe them and tell them, wow, AI, big data, here is my money, please take it. And for sure, when we start going deeper and asking questions, we see that the startups don't understand what they're talking about, and it doesn't work. So for startups, I guess, if they don't understand things like this, they better just don't speak about it.
In beginning of this panel, let's imagine something, that we have a company. So I think the most important is do our homework, like a project. So I have a team. We are experts in our field and so on. We now understand that it's very important to get education. So to get a money or to make some person fund accelerate, it doesn't matter, gives you the money. It's very important education. Talk about your project a lot and not use complicated words, what you actually don't know what to use. I saw a lot of projects, and a lot of projects was really fun to listen. Like example, so many very successful startups in beginning when they are pitching in the first time, I mean on the stage, maybe even till the 10th time, that nobody in the room never understand what they actually creating. So I have a question, how or what is the trick to very easy tell to someone your story? Or what is the best trick to impress investors when you're pitching something? What is that? What our team, when we're looking for the money, is very important when we give, the pitch. What needs to be inside that pitch desk that somebody would like to talk with us in the next conversation? Basically, how to sell. Helmuts, how you think? What is that catch? What's take you to ask for the second date to the project?
I would say the first thing that comes in my mind would be if they have global reach. So if this company wants to go international,
Scalable. Yeah.
Yes, scalable. So maybe they want just to build something in Latvia, solve one small problem, and that's it. That's basically their field of those actions. And yes, this scalability is one of the most important factors. What do I looking for? There are several things, of course. I would say that the same thing about their financial things. So how they are planning their finances to be spent. So
there is a lot of things which you're
yes,
looking
of course,
for
of course. There is no one thing that I could say that I'm looking particularly on, but there are several things that I see and see if it's fine for me or not.
Fine. Yeah. Okay, Sandra, what you're looking for in the presentation, and how to say simple, like project to explain you?
First of all, it's about simplicity. I mean, we are people, investors are people. Don't try to impress us with some, number of words that some people don't understand. Talk to us as if we're like 4-year-old. If you can't explain your product in simple words, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything about your product. Secondly, I want startups who are solving real world problems, and they can actually explain what is the problem that they're solving, because that's like one of the, I think 50% of startups are actually, they go nowhere just because they have no idea what is the problem that they're solving and who are their customers. They simply can't explain it. For example, I recently talked to this HR tech startup, and he said, and asked like, what is the exact problem? He said like, well, HRs are busy, we want to save their time. And I said like, okay, everyone is pretty much solving this problem. So who are your customers? And he said like, all different types of HRs, like in all different types of companies. Things like this, they simply don't work, right? Because you need to understand who your target audience is, like very, very focused and precise. You need to understand what is the problem that you're solving, and you need to understand the market and be able to explain it like in 5 sentences. These are normally the best pitches.
Lena, do you have something to add to this, what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, but also for me, it's important that they explain why they are doing this. okay, the problem might be, there, but why is it their problem? Why are they just doing this because they thought, okay, we want to make some money, this seems like a good problem to tackle, which is also fine. But like, what is their passion? What's in it for them? What keeps them up at night? So this is also something that I like to see. Of course, on top of me being able to understand what the project is about. So the pitching is, it's hard and it's very difficult to explain your own product that you've been working on for so long because you know how it works, and people tend to start talking about features. But features at this point are not important, and even in sales, once you raise the funding, the features are even then not important for the customer. It's important what you're solving, and speak it simply and clearly, and why you and why now. These are the ones that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So now I understand that it's very important to be focused. To focus about what is your project, what is your team, how long the team working together, why they're working together, what is the problem, not trying to fix globally like all world's problem, like a hunger or something like that, but focusing to some the area and the numbers what you can really reach. I know a lot of jokes from the investor side, the best pitches from the stage, and one of them is, of course, how % from the market they will reach, or this beautiful sentence, we are unique and we don't have concurrence. What is like the worst thing what you ever can say on the stage, that you don't have concurrence. So why? What's happening with others? Or maybe it's a good sign that you need, step back from that or talk with that. But so to get a money, it's very important. If you have the first know-how how to do it, you are in the ecosystem with a different kind of players and you can talk about it. But the traditional question, how are you going to speak on the stage about your project, because somebody will steal that. It's a lot of meat and a lot of stories, dark stories, what's going on, about private investors and so on. So what is the common mistake, or what people, when they come to Latban, what they expect and what they're afraid of, what is actually not true about the business angels? Do you know it? Some of the myths. Like example that you all guys are investing money and take a lot of shares from the company. Like example in have this kind of in Baltic state ecosystem saying.
Do I know examples like this? I'm not quite sure if I know someone take too much shares of company. So because then it shows that both are uneducated, not only startup but investor as well. So investors they should bring this smart money, their expertise, and not taking too much from the startup. So they show this direction to company where they need to develop. The other thing would be, I haven't seen something like that, but yes,
But how I will gonna, say something to business angels, because they have a money, they will do them own. They just listening to my projects and they do them own.
They actually can help with some directions that they see. So, and take saying too much to investor that is not invested money in your company, that's kind of also shows some unmaturity. So I don't know how would I describe this, but yes, you somehow cannot say too much before you don't know these things about investors, so you should do this.
He is an investor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I always say that the key is the team, that the team they do. Sandra, definitely, you hear so many projects. What is the common, meat about raising the money and what you do when you hear this kind of that secrets? I will not say my pitch because they will gonna build it them own.
Well, actually, as you know, we are not just working with startups, we are also educating investors, and we have this program which is called Business Angel School for the angels. And by the way, talking about the cases that you just mentioned about investors taking too much equity, believe me, we've seen it all. I mean, investors taking 40% of equity, being completely uneducated. Investors invest in products they have no idea about, no idea about the market or no idea about how it works or something. Investors investing in the product because I personally like the product, so I think if I'm going to use it, everyone is going to use it, and a lot of things like this. And while we were educating investors, we built some sorts of. We figured that a lot of people have biases and a lot of people tend to invest to think about investments emotionally, especially the business angels, because they're investing their own money. They're not managing someone's capital. So we, for example, developed a lot of frameworks for the business angels. So to make them unbiased and to help them to make the decision based on either numbers or evaluation of the team on facts, basically. You don't have a lot of numbers, but when you're early stage, but you have some facts, you have some data, and you're making this decision based on the data, not based on something that you like or don't like. And also a lot of very, so to say, young angel investors, and I'm not talking about the age, I'm talking about the experience in the market. They think that they should invest a lot of money in startup, probably that the startup ticket is like 30K, 50K, and the more they invest, the more power they have over the startup. That's one of the biggest mistakes of those, because all the angels who are just starting their journey in the market, they have to syndicate with other angels together. For example, what Latvian is doing, or Litban or Esban, and just go together and just learn from others who are more experienced. And only after some time, start their own investment journey.
Thank you. Lena, how do I know what is good venture fund where to go and talk with? How to find the right one? There is a lot of, if I will Google, venture capital funds in Europe, the list is huge. How to know which fund I will understand, I will be educated, I know when go, but how to figure out which one fund to take? What is important for the project to know? What kind of startups use you?
Well, we are very specific. So we are only looking to invest in companies that have diverse teams. So if there's no woman in the founding team, they're out. But I would suggest that startups do their research on the funds, because it takes time and effort to pitch the different funds. And if your project is not relevant to the fund, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting the investor's time. So it's always good to find someone that's specifically either in your industry or, some kind of values align. And now, of course, do a list of the most relevant, the kind of relevant, and then the last set. So even in the ones that aren't, specifically either in your industry, or they might still find your project interesting and they may invest. But I would say target the ones where you see the highest possibility. So for example, I don't know, you're doing something in clean tech, then I would reach out to impact and green funds first, and then, see what else is left over. So kind of triage them in a sense.
Okay, thank you. So let's make a conclusion, together for all listeners. So first of all, you need to be focused, very educated about how to do it. To raising money, it takes a lot of time and preparing preparing, training for the pitches and so on. It takes time, really, it takes time. You can speed up it a little bit if you know the legal part. And it's very important when you're raising the money, knowing what is good and bad sides of it. If you are a pretty young project, not running, to the venture capital funds super fast, go accelerate it and raise the right way. Find the best investors. And if you don't know what is good investor, find out those who make the investors cool. They can give you a good mentoring for that. If you want, know what is good venture fund, please talk with the people who was taking the money from the funds and was very good, or who investing in funds, venture funds, and helping them to grow. If you're looking for something, first of all, be calm and do what you do the best. What is the wish for those what's looking for the money? What you, Helmut, wish for those what's listening right now and thinking that, oh my God, how I need money yesterday?
I wish to everyone to work hard. And when you work hard, you will achieve that direction investors are looking for. So don't go your way, be passionate about your product, and work hard to achieve some milestone.
Yes, thank you. Sandra, please, what do you wish to the listeners?
Well, I'd say stop thinking about fundraising, start thinking about the revenue. Once you get the traction, the investors will follow.
Thank you. Lena?
Yeah, tricky question. I wish you success, of course, but determination. So yeah, I mean, funding is important, but as Sandra said, revenue is more important. So if you can make it without funding, then you're even in a better place. You haven't given any equity away. Also, why not look at grants? So if you can't find the funding fast enough, see what the other option is. So think of it as a problem-solving exercise. You need to survive somehow. So just keep focused and keep going. There will be success in the end.
Thank you all what's listened and my beautiful panel discussion members. I wish for you to find the best values in your life and in your team and with investors. Always keep your values high. Thank you, everyone, and good day for you in Icebreaker. Bye-bye.
Hey, please wait a second. Please don't run off. We actually have a question from the audience to all of you, whoever of you wishes to answer first. So how are the business ideas which are presented to angels or funds and refuse to invest prevented from copying? So what are the confidentiality rules there?
Sandra, maybe you, because I know that you have experience in that.
Idea doesn't worth anything. It just doesn't make sense to prevent your idea from copying, because it's not about the idea. You can't invent something truly unique. It's all about the execution. And something that no one can copy is the way how exactly you're going to execute your start. Your product is a unique combination of the skills and the experience and the background of the founding team. This is something that can be copied. If you think that your idea worth $1 million, well, go try to execute it, because you can't sell the idea.
Great, thank you. Thank you for adding to that. I think it's really useful to hear, especially I've heard this question quite a lot in hackathons as well. So a great question, and thank you for the answer. Thank you all to the speakers for the wonderful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.